Hey, Will Score Special fans. It's halftime in what is a disappointment to what was going to be a promising start to the season for the Chicago Bears. Yes, a tough schedule. They're facing two really good defenses in their division to start the year. Here in week 2 as well, like they did in week 1, the Vikings really beefed up that defense. Credit to their staff to improve the defense, which got the Bears pretty good in their 3-point loss in week 1 in Chicago in the first regular season game of the Ben Johnson head coach era, as he's at the helm in his first season starting with the Chicago Bears. But today in week 2, some continued mistakes that are just a big concern to me is the efficiency of the offensive line that we brought together. They brought in some good veterans, got some young guys behind these veterans in terms of better depth with their O-line. But these veterans that are heralded as pretty good, Jonah Jackson, who's played under Ben Johnson, did pretty well at the Rams. They gave him a nice extension. And Drew Dahlman, who got a pretty good deal, also seen in the league as a good center, are making continuous errors with costly penalties today. DeAndre Swift does not fit this offense, and I think the Bears already hinted in the offseason, some analysts doing their good job in due diligence, seeing Swift was not a good fit in the Ben Johnson offense style. They should have done something about that in the offseason. If you don't think Swift's a fit, you're going to use him. Yeah, that's great, but he's not fitting in this offense well. So I'd like to see more Kyle Monangai in the offense. What the Bears need to do, they need to look at the trade market. Yes, I know it's very early, but there's teams with a lot of depth at running back. Go look at maybe a team with really good depth at running back that has one that could be available in an early season trade. We've seen it happen before in the first few weeks of the season. Trades, moves, stuff like that. I think the Bears need to do that. I think the Bears, and I'm not saying Brian Robinson Jr. is a superstar, but he's a good role player on a team. He would have been a good get for the Bears, and I think they really missed out on getting him. Him and Kyle Monangai, in my opinion, with Swift, maybe as like a move around second, third string running back in that type of depth chart would have helped. But the O-line's costing the Bears. Caleb's not perfect, so I kind of expected he was going to eventually make a mistake to start the year, like an interception. Most young quarterbacks tend to do that in their careers early on in the first few seasons or so. So I like how Caleb bounced back from that, though. Going to Rome Odunze, it looks like Ben Johnson is correcting a mistake from last year where the Bears offense wasn't utilizing the deep threat of Rome Odunze as much as they should have. Rome now matching his touchdown total from last year. 3 touchdowns just last year. He already has that with 2 here today. So that's a big plus for Chicago. I like what Kyle Monangai did with a couple snaps there. The defense looks a lot more improved, I'm going to say, today. Jalen Johnson, we hope's okay. He's a good team leader on this Bears roster, passionate player on and off the field as a Chicago Bears secondary player. So he's questionable to come. So if you're the Bears, you want to take that with proper awareness, looking at the season still early on, beginning here in week 2. You want to be careful with your decision. I would consider, despite the cornerback issues, bench Stevenson at this point. I don't want to see Stevenson on the field. I thought he had promise last year, but after the Commanders game, his career has just gone down the tubes. Bears fans. Sorry, down the tubes, Stevenson. And the Bears just need to get it together. Detroit's a very talented team. I'm not discounting that as well. I'm just talking about the mistakes the Bears are making that are continuing to cost them. Folks, this is why good teams work it out a little more in the offseason, their mistakes. Get a good cadence going with your offensive line and quarterback if there's new players on your O-line. Like the Bears have a lot of them. Now, I won't discount it. Detroit's got a very talented offense and defense. There's a reason they won the division last year. They're a talented ball club. Regardless of the coordinator changing, they still have a talented, good head coach in Dan Campbell. So the Bears are facing 2 tough division teams that had good seasons last year. But the Bears could be a little bit more closer on the score in this game. They are down 2 touchdowns. They are getting the ball back in the second half, but I have concerns about that after what we saw in week 1, how that went down in the second half. The Bears had a some positives in the first half. Had a lead, gave it up to Minnesota back in week 1 on Monday, not too long ago here to start the season. And that fourth quarter was like a disaster. I thought the Bears would learn some things from Monday to improve for today's game. I don't think they have. We're still seeing costly penalties by the offensive line. They are paying a good amount of money to some of these offensive linemen to do the job. They are not doing their job effectively. They need to get it together. I'm expecting a tough second half for the Bears and Detroit to probably blow them out, unfortunately. I am optimistic about the Bears' chances as they do have talent on this roster, both sides offensively and defensively, but Detroit has a momentum. I have a bad feeling, just my realistic feeling as a Bears fan, but as a football fan, it's credit to Detroit. You know, they talked about in the pregame on the score, credit to those guys, Patrick Manley, Olin Kreutz, and Mike Mulligan, a really good pregame show I enjoyed listening to this morning. If you guys don't listen to the score for pre and post of the Bears, definitely check that out. Those guys have a really good crew. I really enjoy hearing Manley and Olin Kreutz, two former NFL players, but also Bears players. So you get not just an analyst viewpoint, but you're getting a former player's viewpoint as an analyst on pre and post game content. So it's really good stuff. I really enjoy hearing that, and not much bias, good objectivity. But I got to be honest with you, Bears fans, you might want to be very patient this year. I had the Bears maybe, and it's still possible, but my predictions earlier in the season from preseason going into week 1 are out the window. I would be surprised if the Bears get 2 wins in the first 5 weeks here. They might on Dallas here. They could today still, but this first half is still giving Bears fans that for many years here have looked for hope. There is potential for hope, I would say. You need to take it with a grain of salt as a Bears fan. I mean, they talked about on the broadcast on Fox here how it took Detroit a little while to settle in with Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, and their offense. It took them time. So it's going to take the Bears time, but I don't see this game finishing in a way Bears fans would like right now. These players are just not in sync. They're not doing their jobs. If I were Ryan Poles, I would go get a new kicker and make some changes at the running back spot. There's going to be guys available this early in the year that are still healthy, because teams did add some in the offseason for assurance. And I would go look at the running backs available in the free agent market and on the trade market after today's game going into tomorrow. The Bears will have a little more time for week 3 once today's game concludes. But Bears fans, go do something outside. It's nice weather. Run some errands. Mow your lawn. Take a walk. Walk your dog. If you have kids, walk your kids. Go to the park with them or something. I wouldn't watch the rest of this game if I were you. I'm just being honest as a football fan. Bears fans aren't going to like the result, so go do something valuable with your time there. But credit to Detroit, like I said. They are really bouncing back in that game. I want to give Detroit some credit. They had coordinators change. That's just my viewpoint. You could listen to the radio, too, I was going to say. You can watch the game on TV, but tune into the broadcast for the Bears. I think I was suggested this. I heard on the halftime by Mark Silverman, he was telling fans, tune in on the radio if you're outside. It's better than watching the TV, in my opinion. The great Jeff Joniak, listen to him, Tom Thayer. So if you want to follow the rest of the Bears game, go enjoy the outside weather. Don't watch it on the TV indoors. Go outside, as I said, and go listen to it on the radio. So long from this Facebook Live here on Will Score Special titled Wake Up Call for the Chicago Bears. Get it together. Bye, everybody.